Hello and welcome to Pro Trader Strategies Market Commentary. It is Friday, Unenjoyment Friday, August the 7th. I'm Eric Wilkinson, and yes, you very well may recognize me from mainstream media where I've talked about the economic data, the geopolitical environment, and how that comes in to impact the overall markets with my market analysis. I do the same thing in these daily market commentaries, but I'm going a little bit further for you guys and layering on top of it the option strategies that I implement into my portfolio based on those assumptions we come up with. And then in the webinars, I really drill down on these option strategies to show you guys the best strike location, environment to implement any option strategy around that assumption you come up with. Yesterday, we just got done doing our poor man's covered put. It is like a synthetic short with limited risk, so check that out. It's a great stock for great option strategy for a stock you have a bearish assumption in that you can take advantage of a downswing with limited risk. All right, so without further ado, let's get on with the economic data. I mentioned it's Unenjoyment Friday. What does that mean? Well, on the floor, we used to call the non-farm payroll numbers, which comes out the first Friday of every month, the Unenjoyment Day, because it usually created a lot of havoc on the floor. All right, so across the pond, not really a whole lot going on, but here in the United States, we got the non-farm payroll number coming in at 1,763,000 hires, expected to be 1,530,000 hires. So better than expected on that front. They did revise last month's number down a little bit, but only by about 8,000 or so, something like that. Not a terrible revision there. Also, hourly earnings better than expected at 0.2%. It was expected to be a negative 0.5%. So still showing some wage strength there. And then the unemployment rate down ticked a little bit to 10.9%, expected to be 11.1%. All right, so let's go over to the overall. Oh, wait, did we get wholesale inventories? We should have gotten wholesale inventories and consumer credit. Let me just check that real quick. Wholesale inventories, drawdown of 1.4%, expected to be a drawdown of 2%. So a little bit higher than, inventory is a little bit higher than what was expected there. Crude oil coming off by about 60 cents, still in the 40 handle though, nothing really to see here. We do have bonds coming off by about a little bit better than a half of a basis point or a full basis point there. But still right in and around where I've talked about is the sweet spot, below 183 and above about 176-ish, 177. That's where we're really starting to see the volume start to pick up, because that's where price should be being accepted. I've been talking about that for months now, and I feel like it's a little long in the tooth. Gold coming off by about $30 after testing a new all-time high today. Again, I don't think that gold is really out of the bears or at the bulls wheelhouse here, as we are seeing a weaker dollar, especially if we see this next round of stimulus coming. We could be seeing some pullback here as it just keeps getting kicked down the road. Trump did say that if they don't come up with a stimulus package by today, he could be considering an executive order to do something. We'll have to see how that works out. But I do think that there is going to be another stimulus package probably very shortly. All right, VIX is just slightly off today, and that's a little bit wild because we're seeing some downside in the equities. The Dow Jones Industrial Average has been leading the way to the downside for the most part. You can see here we are starting to see that crossover that I talked about yesterday. That is a longer term bullish trend set up when we start seeing the chart right here with the crossover of the 50-day there and the 200-day kind of coming across. That usually means a bullish move there to the upside. Also, the markets starting to realize there's some value happening in here with the reopening trade. I think Trump also said by the end of, or by the beginning of November, we might see a vaccine. I don't know. That seems a little bit early yet, but that's what he is saying right now. Also, we've got the NASDAQ off by about 68 points on the day, making a new all-time high again as well. Market starting to pull back. Now, I've been saying for a while Friday is probably not the day to get involved in a bullish move, but it seems like for the last couple of Fridays we have had that bullish move, especially late in the day. We're going to have to see if that really transpires again today, as the market is in negative territory, but we've been saying that on Fridays. We see that weakness early on. And, I expected to see more weakness throughout the days on Friday, as it is a rush to the Hamptons, as we call it, Friday summer markets. Usually people leave on Friday a little bit earlier, and would expect to see some of that really come off, but it seems like the retailer or the retail investor is really coming in strong towards the later parts of the day. So I don't know if that's going to be a thing we start to see here on the Fridays as volumes start to lighten up a little bit. All right, so that's the E-mini S&Ps. Let's take a breakdown of the chart here. These are 30-minute candles. You can see overnight pretty flat for the most part coming into today. Got a bit of a move to the upside on the unemployment number, which was right around here. Pretty bullish, but now we're starting to see some maybe profit taking going on as we start to head into the weekend there. All right, this is something I wanted to talk about. Overstock. Oh my gosh. I thought I was doing good with Penn, but check out Overstock. Just back at the height of this whole pandemic, we saw this really flush down to $2.50 there, as you can see the low, and then nothing but upside as these guys are doing very well, moving inventory for people, and up into the 112 today, up another almost 20% at one point in time today. So markets really celebrating Overstock, feeling like we've all missed out on this one, but I wanted to throw that out there. One of the reason why is we actually bought our dogs, it was 5 years ago, but we bought our dogs via Overstock, not on Overstock, don't get me wrong, but they had this part of their platform where you could go on there and search dogs in your area at the shelters, and that's exactly what my wife had done, and we ended up finding those dogs on Overstock, went to the animal shelter at Maricopa County here in Arizona, and ended up walking away with 2 puppies. So interesting tidbit of my life is all I wanted to throw out there for you on a Friday. That's all I got for you guys. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Check out our webinars on the roadmap to trading options, you guys. This is a great webinar, especially if you are, or great course, I should say, if you are getting into trading options. We come up with a strategy. Actually, we come up with an assumption, market assumption, and then build that strategy around that assumption. So we don't usually just find an option strategy we want to put into our portfolio on any given day. We usually come up with these assumptions based on all of our market analysis, and then we need to find the strategy that is right for that time, place, and environment. So check it out. Go to protraderstrategies.com. Please take a moment to go over our disclaimer, as we are an educational company. We are not here to solicit you guys. We're just here to educate you and know that there are risks in trading. All right, so have a great weekend, and if you can't take that, take it easy.